Why are you constantly waiting? Waiting for the right opportunity, for an apology that will never come, for a mentor to discover you, or for time to magically heal your wounds. Psychologically, you are trapped in learned helplessness, a state where you believe external forces control your destiny. We have been conditioned by fairy tales and movies to wait for a hero to rescue us. But Stoicism delivers a cold, sobering truth. No one is coming to save you. Your family cannot do it, your partner cannot do it, and time will only pass. It won't heal. Epictetus warned us that expecting others to bring you happiness or rescue you from misery is the ultimate surrender of your freedom. Until you accept that you are entirely on your own, you will remain a victim of your circumstances. The first step to reclaiming your life is adopting a mindset of radical responsibility. This means looking objectively at your bank account, your physical health, your broken relationships, and your mental state, and saying out loud, "I am responsible." Psychology calls this an internal locus of control. Victims blame the economy, their ex-partner, or their unfair childhood. But a Stoic understands that while you did not choose your trauma, you are entirely responsible for your healing. Blame is a useless emotion. It feels good temporarily because it protects your fragile ego, but it keeps you paralyzed. When you stop pointing fingers and accept that your current reality is the exact result of your past choices, you reclaim your power. You are the architect of your ruin, which means you are also the only one who can architect your rescue. Once you accept radical responsibility, you must ruthlessly eliminate the most toxic habit holding you back: complaining. Complaining is the language of the defeated. Psychologically, every time you complain to a friend or vent about your circumstances, your brain releases dopamine. It tricks you into feeling like you have taken action, but in reality, you have done nothing but leak precious mental energy. Marcus Aurelius commanded himself, "Do not be overheard complaining, not even to yourself." When you complain, you are unconsciously signaling to your brain that the power lies outside of you. If you don't like your job, your body, or your relationships, you only have two Stoic options: accept them completely or change them immediately. Anything else is just noise that keeps you trapped in the victim loop. To physically rescue yourself, you must transition from passive observation to aggressive execution. You cannot think your way out of a burning building. You have to run. If your life is falling apart, you must construct an immediate, actionable rescue plan. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." You must prepare. This means defining exactly what saving yourself looks like. Does it mean waking up an hour earlier to build a side business? Does it mean cutting off toxic friends? Does it mean going to the gym even when you are exhausted? When you take the helm of your own ship, the psychological shift is profound. The anxiety of waiting for a savior is replaced by the quiet confidence of a captain steering through the storm. You stop hoping for a lifeline and start building a boat. To successfully rescue yourself, you must make ruthless decisions about who you allow in your lifeboat. Psychology tells us about social contagion, the reality that you subconsciously absorb the attitudes, fears, and work ethic of the people around you. If you are surrounded by victims who constantly complain and wait to be saved, their mindset will infect yours. Epictetus was brutally clear on this. Avoid fraternizing with non-philosophers. If you must, be careful not to sink to their level. You cannot swim to the surface if you are holding on to people who are determined to drown. Saving yourself often requires the painful but necessary act of cutting ties with those who drain your energy. You must protect your mental space as if your life depends on it, because right now it does. The process of becoming your own savior is not going to be comfortable. In fact, it will be the hardest thing you ever do. We naturally seek the path of least resistance. Our brains are wired to prioritize comfort and safety. But safety is the enemy of evolution. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." If you want to build the strength required to carry your own weight, you must actively seek out voluntary discomfort. Whether it is enduring a grueling workout, facing a terrifying truth about your finances, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, you must lean into the pain. Psychologically, every time you choose the hard path over the easy excuse, you build resilience and neuroplasticity. You are not just surviving the fire, you are using it to forge an unbreakable version of yourself. One of the biggest obstacles to saving yourself is the obsession with fairness. You wait for an apology, for restitution, or for karma to strike because you feel you were wronged. Psychology calls this the just world hypothesis, the cognitive bias that assumes the world is inherently fair. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the universe is entirely indifferent to our expectations. Nature doesn't deal in fairness, it deals in reality. Clinging to how things should be blinds you to how things actually are. To rescue yourself, you must accept objective reality without emotional attachment. Stop crying over the unfairness of the storm, grab a bucket, and start bailing out the water. Stop demanding fairness from the world and start demanding resilience from yourself. Ultimately, this rescue mission is an internal job. You must build what the Stoics called the inner citadel, an impenetrable fortress of the mind that cannot be breached by external chaos. When you stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth, calm your anxiety, or provide your happiness, you achieve true emotional autonomy. Psychologically, you shift from a fragile, dependent state to one of true independence. If you rely on external saviors, whether it's a romantic partner, a boss, or a friend, they can always leave, fail, or disappoint you. But when you become your own anchor, your strength is permanent. You begin to realize a profound Stoic truth. Everything you ever needed to survive the darkness was already forged inside of you. But the most brutal consequence of waiting to be saved is the irreversible loss of time. The Stoics practiced Memento Mori, the daily reminder that you are dying every single day. Every month you spend paralyzed in self-pity, waiting for someone to recognize your potential or pull you out of the abyss, is a month of your finite life that is gone forever. Psychologically, waiting creates a false sense of suspended animation. It makes you feel like life is paused until the hero arrives. But the clock never pauses. You do not have the luxury to wait for better circumstances, a better economy, or a better mood. The urgency of your own mortality is the ultimate wake-up call. If you don't save yourself today, you are actively choosing to waste the only life you have. So, here is your final protocol. Stop looking out the window for a savior. No one is coming. This is not a tragedy. It is your ultimate liberation. The moment you accept that the burden is entirely yours, you also realize that the power is entirely yours. You have the Stoic framework to take radical responsibility, the discipline to execute a rescue plan, and the resilience to forge your own path. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stand up, look in the mirror. Look at the only person who is ever going to pull you out of the fire. Anchor your feet to the ground, take a deep breath, and take the first step. Save yourself. Start now."